Stuart, so that uncertainty of Daniel not being tied down would never really become an issue, do you feel?
No, I don't think so. It's funny, I spoke to, over my career, a few sort of managers and players about that, as to, in the dressing room, does anyone actually care? And it's amazing how many don't. It's his contract, whatever, didn't even know he had a year left on it, and I think that's the key. I think if we'd announced it as just a rolling contract, we wouldn't be having this conversation now, and I don't see it becoming an issue. If we felt it was becoming an issue, we'd obviously have to deal with that, but it's not an issue for us, it's not an issue for him, and knowing footballers as well as I do, they care about themselves, less so about, you know, the head coach and the sporting director or the board or anyone else. They're about them, and that's fine. So yeah, I don't see it being an issue.
We had patience and transition and all those sort of words last year. So going into this season, how important is it to have a quick start and maybe to disregard some of those qualities that we've sort of spoken about a bit last year?
Yeah, listen, every club in the country want a quick start. Of course, we're no different to that. I think the key for us this season is that we show a step forward. Now, what that looks like, we'll find out during the season. But, you know, quite rightly, we talked a lot last year about transition and patience, and I truly believe they weren't excuses. They were genuine reasons and what have you. Unfortunately, probably this summer with the transfer dealing certainly out, we'd probably ask for a little bit more patience. But we're also realistic to know that only lasts so long. I think you know, we do have to sort of step up. We do have to show that the squad's developing, the club's developing, and the ideas and what we spoke about are coming true. It can't, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say that if we perform at home like we did at the start of last season, that's going to be easily accepted. And I get that. If I'm a paying supporter and I pay a lot of money to come, I want to see a difference. But what I do hope is that people don't judge that then on 3 or 4 games. It's like, well, you know, we've got a tough start on paper. So it's like, give it a reasonable amount of time, and then of course if it's not right, then yeah, we deserve what has to come our way. You know, we've worked hard, I believe, on and off the pitch to give us the best opportunities, whether it's developing the facilities here, developing the squad, developing our staff, trying to maintain the highest levels we can for a championship club with aspirations to go, you know, to the Premier League at some point. You know, we've put everything in place to help us have a better season. The proof's in the pudding if we can then go and do that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about expectations. Can you set those at a level?
No, because I believe you should have no limits anyway. I think, you know, we shouldn't set, if we could get in the top 10, that's a step forward, and then go, well, yeah, there could be a chance to get in the top 2. Could be a chance to get relegated. So I think that there should be no limits to what our expectations are. But we also have to be realistic with that. And if you look at the money again spent in this league, you look at the level of players we left, more transition within our playing group, it leads itself unfortunately to potential inconsistency, and you know, we've got to fight against that. That's why we want to get our players in as quickly as possible to give them as much as pre-season as we could, but it's still pretty tough to get people to gel. I'm sure tomorrow, I don't know, there could be 6-7 debuts out there tomorrow, which, you know, will be again pretty new for a championship team. And then you look at the money Stoke have spent, the money Middlesbrough spending, what West Brom were reported to do, what Birmingham will probably be now allowed to do, and every year this league's just tough. We know that, but what we have to do is we have to believe in our way and try and find, sort of get our way through it, which we know is different. We're not chucking a checkbook at it. We're chucking hopefully hard work, you know, mentality, a style of play, a direction, young players. But yeah, I think we've got to. We've certainly got to work hard and improve on last season. We know that. We know we can't be sat here 14th in the league and going, come on, you know, let's all be happy with that, because that's not right. Because when you sign up to work for Norwich City, it's a big club and big expectations. If you can't handle that, leave is my advice. So, you know, we understand that there is that, but all we'd ask is supporters to stick with us, like they did last year, certainly in terms of numbers. And they already have in pre-season. When you see how many people travel to Luton on a Wednesday night, it's ridiculous, really. And we're trying to make differences at Carrow Road. So, you know, we are going to attack the Barclay end second half this year where possible, because we want to try and bring that bit of, no, come help us. Yeah, we appreciate the players on the pitch are the ones who get the fans going, but there's times you need a little bit back. And there's times you might be defending a 1-0 lead and it's like, we actually need 25,000 here helping us, not sitting there going, oh, I wish we could score a second or third. It's like, no, come on, just drag us through this. So there's little subtle changes where we're not sitting here going, no, it's all up to you, and let's sit here and be happy finishing 14th. We're like, no, we're trying, and all we ask is people to sort of try and come on that journey with us.
On a personal note, you've had to deal with a few transfer windows here and elsewhere, of course, now. How did this one rate in terms of the challenge you faced at the start, the effort you had to put in, and what you've ended up with at the end of it?
Well, firstly, it's not finished, so we're not quite done yet. It's been a really interesting. It's probably the most interesting window of my life. For a start, the level of the James deal is the biggest one I've personally been involved with, and that was tough. That was 6 months of work went into that deal. People see the end bit, but that's months and months of preparation, of PR around a player, of playing poker with clubs and agents and whatever. So that was tough. I was relieved that him and Josh were done early, as much as, of course, we don't put on a personal level, don't want either of them players to leave, because we miss their personalities, let alone their football, because they're two unbelievable boys. But it then enabled us to do some work in. And my greatest concern, if I'm being honest, at the end of the season was, what if this goes all the way to August the 7th or 8th, and we can't sign anyone? And we're sat here at Birmingham away, what will be, obviously at that time I didn't know, and thinking we haven't really got the squad we want, and it's not great. So I was really relieved when that started to move quite early. And I think in general then, the club have been quick to react. We haven't sat and, counting our money and, let's try and do something. We had our targets lined up. Big credit to Kieran Scott and the scouting department, that I think we had a pretty diverse set of targets. If you look from Tim Krul, unbelievably experienced goalkeeper, down to Emi Buendia, who's no one would have heard of until about a month ago. It's real diverse. It's not just the same old names or a real sort of obvious list. I think fair play to the club in really backing us with the signing of Jordan Rhodes, because that's probably not a normal deal I would certainly be involved in. My tradition's been younger players, and so is Daniel, and then lower cost and build development in. But it's been really good to have been back to say, no, come on, let's get a real serious sort of championship sort of striker in. So we're grateful for that. So I think overall the window's gone pretty well so far. Hopefully there'll be no nasty surprises around the corner, but I think it's gone pretty well so far, and we should be happy with our business done. And as Steve has previously said, and Daniel's previously said, at least it's taken away a massive financial burden or cloud over us, which, to be honest, at the start of the window privately was, we have to sort this out. Obviously we can never come out publicly because we've got our positions in negotiating. We can't do a Steve Bruce and basically tell the world we're broke, because that hurts us then. So it's been good to get that done, and we can now think about really moving the club forward. And I'm hoping to have a year, and I said this to the board, I'd like to sit in a board meeting where the first conversation isn't about money and how we're going to repair this gap. It's going to be nice to talk about, how do we develop the culture further, how do we develop the academy, how do we make the club competitive, how can we change the atmosphere, all the other areas of the club, because I think we've spent, every time I've spoke to you guys, it's always been pretty much we get on the topic of money, and I'm personally excited. I didn't come here to talk about money for the rest of my life. I'm personally excited to be talking about other stuff, so that's been a nice positive out of the window.
Is there one of the deals you're particularly proud or excited about this summer?
Which one?
That you got done? Is there one?
Oh, is there one? Sorry. I think all of them in their own different way. I think we've brought. Is it 7 players? 6 or 7? I should know this. But 7. 7. I think we've brought in 7 outstanding people, first and foremost. Outstanding characters. And I think also very good players as well. I think we've got a nice balance in terms of young and exciting, experienced with great know-how. I look at Ben Marshall, now 27, and think he's at an unbelievable great age to sort of become the player he probably should have become already. So that's exciting. But I think ended up bringing in a really good sort of mix. And then, of course, it's on a personal level to be part of negotiating the level of deal we got for James. You know, I take a level of pride in that, because as we sat here a year ago, we hadn't started a game for the club, and now, you know, we've sold him for a record fee out of the Championship. Again, I'd love that we would have been in the Premier League and able to keep him, but we weren't. So, you know, I look back on that and think, you know what, we've done all right for the club there, and we should be proud of that. So yeah, it's gone pretty well. There's targets we've missed as well, I'm not going to lie. There's ones that you think, that one got away, or we couldn't quite reach the expectations financially of that one, and that'll always sort of disappoint and grind a little bit. But, you know, the ones who are here, we're really happy to have them here, and we're grateful that they've come here. And, you know, it's even like Jordan Rhodes. The things that people don't know, he give up money to come here. You know, footballers get a bad name, sometimes quite rightly, I think most of the time wrongly. You know, he's given up money to come here. That's how desperate he was to come and be a part of Norwich City and you know, what we're trying to do. And I think that's the type of people we want at our club, is not people who want to be here and, you know, use us as a stepping stone and walk all over us and then cry when we don't let them out at the first opportunity. People are actually proud to be part of this club, because it's a special club, and we should never ever forget that. So I think, yeah, overall it's gone all right.
Who are the ones you missed out on?
Can't say.
Have a try. Just finally, I've got to ask you about Nelson Oliveira. You've got, as Chris said, one of your top scorers from last season. I'm sure he's one of your highest earners as well. He hasn't played a single minute of pre-season action, so we're all assuming his future lies elsewhere. But likewise, if it doesn't, then how is he in a position to feature or be a part of the squad if he hasn't played?
Yeah, so I had a real honest chat with Nelson at the end of the season, and, you know, he made it pretty clear he'd like to move on, and, you know, we agreed with it. You know, it's an adult conversation. He's getting attacked by a fly here. He's you know, contrary to certain people's belief, he's a really good guy, excellent professional, and he's one of the players I probably enjoy speaking to the most, because he's actually very thoughtful and pretty deep, and when he explains things, you go, oh yeah, you're a smart guy. So, you know, we spoke at the end of the season, and we agreed it might be best for all of us if maybe his future lies elsewhere. We then had the same conversation when he came back in, and I was honest with him of, listen, Nelson, we can't wait until late on the window then to replace you. We're going to have to replace you first. And he's like, yeah, of course, you've got to do what's right for Norwich City. He goes, you know, I'm grateful for the opportunity this club's given me. You paid a lot of money for me. You pay me a lot of money. You've got to do what's right for Norwich. You know, and that's when we signed Timu and Jordan. So, and then we always agreed that he wouldn't play the games in pre-season, because he's like, it has to be about the boys who are going to be here. I might not be here. But then the door's always open, that if he's here in September, he's still got the number 9 shirt, he's registered to play for us, he trains every day with the group. It's like, well, yeah, that door remains open. You know, as it would for Russell Martin, who's still got the number 5 shirt and registered. So for us, it is what it is. We probably all expect Nelson to go, and he probably expects that as well. But at the same time, he's got 2 years left on his contract. He's an unbelievably good player. He's a good professional. He does it right. If he's still here as well, to be honest, he probably strengthens us a little bit. So, you know, from the sporting side, it's certainly not the end of the world if Nelson's still here on September the 1st. But, you know, we've respected how he's been with us. I think he's respected how we've been with him, because it's not easy for him, because he wants to play football. He's a footballer. But that's what we agreed on, and, you know, we've sort of stuck to it, and hopefully we've helped him get in the best shape he can be. And, you know, he's been great around the group, helping the new boys settle in, etc., because, like I say, he's a good guy. So, you know, let's see where it leads in the next 4 weeks. That will become clear. You know, obviously the advantage for Nelson is the foreign transfer window stays open till the end of August, so it's not like he's thinking, well, if it doesn't happen next week, it's done. You know, at least he's got time. And you know, crikey, I'm sure there's a lot of clubs who want Nelson Oliveira, because he's that good a player.